Ed, always good to see you, especially the day after debates like yesterday. You called it a messy debate. The candidate certainly came out swinging against Sanders, but is it enough, do you think, to derail his momentum right now?
Yeah, I think it is a question of, is it too little too late? It is clear that Bernie Sanders is the front runner at this point after his performance in the first three nominating contests. He's within striking distance for the South Carolina primary on Saturday. And I think it was very clear that the other candidates on the stage last night are desperate to kind of establish themselves as the clear alternative to Sanders. I think it's going to be a big question on whether or not that support, kind of coalesces around one individual candidate. And for Sanders last night, he got a lot of blows, but he's also able to generally deflect that and immediately go on the offensive and go back to his talking points of exactly why he is running. And so, well, he was the focus of the debate last night. I don't think he came out of that debate any worse than when he walked in.
All right, let's talk Mike Bloomberg. Had a disastrous first debate, seemed to get his feet under him a bit last night. What do the prospects look like for the former New York City mayor?
Yeah, so for Bloomberg, he really was hoping that what happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas. And last night, what I've been trying to discern is whether or not his performance was kind of outright good or it was a relative issue. Senator Elizabeth Warren probably did the most in attacking Bloomberg. He generally stuck to his talking points. He put in a solid debate performance. He is the one individual on that stage with essentially unlimited resources to get his message out. And so the thing I'm looking for Bloomberg is Joe Biden has to have a poor performance on Saturday in the South Carolina debate or in the actual primary for Bloomberg trying to put that coalition together on Super Tuesday, him kind of being the receiving end of kind of the anti-Sanders vote rather than the disparate kind of options that Democrats have for them right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Elizabeth Warren. She really lit into Bloomberg yet again. I'm not so sure it was as effective this time. There were actually boos from the audience when she tried to bring up yet again the non-disclosure agreements. I don't know, but to me it sounded like she was gunning for perhaps Bernie Sanders VP. What do you think?
Alexis, I think you're right. We wrote that in our note in terms of, she was on attack mode and she seemed to be much more anti-Bloomberg than promoting her own candidacy, which does raise questions on whether or not she views kind of an alliance with a Bernie Sanders campaign as her best chance of kind of advancing at this point. I think it was kind of awkward at times with how kind of those attacks went across. But I think it just goes back to show you is that, Elizabeth Warren is 2-0 against Wells Fargo CEOs. She's trying to kind of go 1-0 against kind of the clear billionaire in the race for presidency. She seems to kind of treat Bloomberg as a witness sitting in front of her at the banking committee, more so as a fellow kind of Democrat running for office on the debate stage.
Yeah, good analogy. Ed Mills, thanks a lot. This conversation will be a lot different after Super Tuesday for sure. Thanks for your time this morning. All right. Can anyone or anything stop the Sanders surge? I talk about it in this week's Electionomics podcast with my guest, Lee Miringoff, director of the Marist Institute for Public Opinion. Be sure to check it out on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.